And we're live. Morning thoughts. Somebody said, Madman, where you at? I saw late. No, actually, you know what it was? I was actually trying to take a good picture for the thumbnail, and I kept taking the picture over and over. But anyways, morning thoughts. Shout out to all my people going out to work this morning. Shout out to all my people coming in from work. Extra special big up shout out to all the people who work two jobs. I have a special kind of respect for you because it takes a lot to do that. I'll say it again. For those of you who don't know, I worked two jobs for 4 years straight. Somebody came on the channel recently and said, you're an idiot. Only an idiot would work two jobs for 4 years straight, or only an idiot would work two jobs. Listen, I am cut from a cloth where we do what we have to do. And because I was raised a certain way, I'm not try going to nobody prison. You understand me? I do what I had to do. It got me to where I'm at now, to where I don't have to work at all outside of my house if I don't want to. But like I said, you have a plan, stick to your plan, work your plan through. I have a special kind of respect for you. Some people are of the opinion that all I do is YouTube. So they say stuff on the channel like, hey boy, why you left YouTube and go find good work? I'll find a 9 to 5 or something. For those of you who've been here, you know that I also work in the field of occupational therapy. So I don't have any school loans to pay off or anything like that. And I will be picking up my contracts and heading back out there soon. In the meantime, though, I enjoy running my online business and also spending time with my family, including my YouTube family. Shout out to the people who work every day. Get up and go work. Big up yourself. Manners and respect to you. The truck driver them out there on the road. Shout out to the retirees. The people where, you know what I say? Shout out to the retirees. You've done it and we're trying to get to where you're at. Shout out to every single good, clean-hearted person that is out there. The medical professionals. Shout out to every single good, clean-hearted person. Oh, one person said, SouFlo, you never shout out the caregivers that never get paid. And listen, that's why I love communicating in real time with people. You know, say, check it. We're getting older, right? Our parents are getting older. Their parents or our grandparents are really old. And my grandparents are still around. Somebody has to care for them. I will one day probably have to care for my mom and my dad or my parents, right? So these caregivers who have to care for the elderly within their family and never really get a shout out. They get burnt out sometimes, you know. And so for them, shout out to them too. All right. You saw the title of the video this morning. It says because we own nothing, right? We own nothing. That's why this happening. We are in Black History Month, so I'm going to talk about that a little bit. But before I do that, let me share the story of this sister with y'all. Of course, I'm going to leave her name out of it because she didn't give me permission to use her name. She just sent me the story and it says like this. Greetings. Please, my story goes like this. I am a Jamaican by birth and I've been here for over 25 years. She's talking about the UK. Follow this story closely. Father and Sons TV, big up yourself, brother. So she said she's been in the UK for 25 years, over 25 years. Can't believe how much injustice, inequalities, racism within the UK. NHS. Doctors treated me like a political prisoner. Doctors choose who they want to live and who they want to die, and they will go at any lengths to cover their abuse and errors, especially when you are black. Every concern sweep under the carpet falls on deaf ears. Please, the doctor kept watching the cancer spread, becomes metastatic, withhold my results, falsify my medical records, saying there are no diagnoses of cancer within the UK, started on my lymph node glands, then tongue, now bones, many years ago, removed in 2009, back base of the tongue, was an biopsy in the UK. Please. 2008, they claim it was goat meat. The grammar is not perfect, as you can hear, but I'm trying to read it exactly how she wrote it, right? So, in 2009, she went to the doctor, and the doctor claimed that what they saw in the back of her mouth was goat meat. This is in the UK, right? Biopsy UK, please. They claim it was goat meat. I never went to the hospital complaining of eating meat, etc. At this point, there are many diagnoses within the UK and overseas. White doctors repeatedly neglect the disease, watching it invade my body. They choose who live and who die. So in other words, then I think she's saying that there are many diagnoses now on her that have been confirmed, to include the fact that her cancer is now metastatic, right? Which means it has spread. She's saying it has spread to her bones and all that other stuff, and it only started out on the back of her tongue. And she had concerns about that, and they ignored it, and they watched it spread. I'm going to put you out to some stuff this morning. You living in other people's land, you need to understand this. Hold up. A few weeks ago, I received a copy of my health records that was requesting over 3 months ago. The policy are 20 days. Fortunately, God allows them to send the diagnosis. What they claim no evidence in the UK states medical history is urgent care plan, ovarian cancer, and diabetes. The white doctors still today look at the tumors that are visible now, telling me they can't see anything and so they can't treat anything. We have come through centuries of history, but history repeatedly itself. The colonialism is real. Britain is a racist country. It in USA, I have received life-saving surgeries regarding my heart. So I guess in the US, she came to the US to receive life-saving surgeries regarding her heart. And then she sends me all the paperwork for her medical stuff, pictures of inside of her mouth. This Jamaican hospital, and she even went to Jamaica and got a good diagnosis, a proper diagnosis. And a picture of herself, which I won't show her face. Paperwork of a biopsy, and then her diagnosis of lymphoma, and then a video of her opening her mouth to show me. And then she says, may God continue to empower and establish your life. All right, blessings, sister, manners and respect, and I hope that you actually pull through all this. All right, wake up, people. Listen to this. We own nothing. That is why we are treated like nothing. We own nothing. That is why we are treated like nothing. Let me give you an example. We don't own no hospitals. There are no black-owned hospitals. So when black people get sick, we go to other people hospitals. We go to other people medical facilities. And when we go there, we're putting ourselves at the mercy of them. They tell us what they want to tell us. For instance, it is a proven fact that they do medical experiments on us. Like they get a batch of medicine that they've brought from the lab, and they are at a certain level of testing this medicine now. A Black History Month, you know, some people need to wake up, you know, because some people still think it's kumbaya and everybody loves me, this kind of thing. So this might fly over a lot of people's head this morning. This might not be your kind of conversation, but for those who tune in, this is for you. Listen, it is a proven fact that they try medical experiments on us and on our children. They try it in vaccine forms. They try it in the medicines that they give you, whether it's pills, injections, liquid drops, all this. They try it on you first and see if it works or it doesn't work. You could be going to the doctors for a long time. And thank you, the Tuskegee experiment with syphilis. It's not the only one. That's just the only one they admitted to way after. Now, they misdiagnose you on purpose. It is a known fact that they have been misdiagnosing black people with cancer and other illnesses that you don't even have. You know, some of us are hypochondriacs. And sometimes when we see something changing, growing, the body changes as you age, and it changes in many different ways, right? You see something you're worried about, you go in, they're thinking, perfect candidate. You don't have the knowledge. They talk to you a little bit. They realize you don't even have the intelligence to do your own research in a world of information. So what they do is, perfect candidate for this experiment. They diagnose you with something you don't have. They start treating you with medications that you didn't need in the first place. You're over there thinking you're fighting for your life with this illness when you don't even have the illness. What they're doing is they're trying to see what kind of medication works for what, how it works, what they need to fix in it before they can start giving it to their people on a whole. So we are the guinea pigs. And the reason why we are the guinea pigs, this is just because we don't own hospitals. That's why I said we don't own nothing. That's why this happens to us. We don't own any hospitals. So I came with my paper this morning. We don't own any hospitals, so they're able to do all that to us. We don't own any schools. We don't own any schools. And I don't care if you go to a school and you see a bunch of black teachers there. Check the curriculum that they are teaching from. That curriculum is not for your upliftment. It's not for your best interest. Every school from where this teeny tiny tot until we go through universities tells us that we come from slavery. Our history is so much greater than slavery. Slavery was a late part of our history. Matter of fact, we also had slavery and still do, but it was a different kind of slavery from chattel slavery. We always had wars. And in our wars, we always fought with each other. We come from tribal people. Tribes have always been warring. On the continent, you have countries, right? Different customs and cultures, and they used to war against each other. And men would get captured in war, and they would go into servitude, but they were allowed to keep. The Hausas captured the Dinkas. The Dinkas were captured and worked as slaves, but they were allowed to keep their names, their culture, and connection with their families. When they work off their servitude, they were sent back to their people. Chattel slavery was different for us. We lost our names. We lost connections with our spirituality, our way of worship, our real base of belief, right? We own no schools. So what we do now is we put not only ourselves, but also our children, our babies. We subject our babies to the same system. Send your children to the same people whose plot is to destroy you systematically. Send your children to them so they can educate your children. And you think that they're going to educate your children in the best interest. Like, for instance, they tell us all this misguided stuff. And then when we get out of school, for those of us who dare to go further in knowledge, right? Search and find. Even after we have found it, what do? We don't teach it to our children, and we still send our children to these places, to these people, to these institutions that we have no ownership of. What you think is going to happen? We own no media. We own no media houses. Black people don't own any hospitals. We don't own any schools. And we own no media houses. Every radio station, every major radio station and television station that you see out there, they are controlled by those powers that be. If they don't like what is being said on it, you're cut off. You have to fall into the agenda and you have to say what it is they want you to say. Whether it sounds good, but they like it even though they don't believe it, but they like it because it fits into their agenda of misleading the people further away from. You know what I'm saying? Like, for instance, they'll give all the churches and all the Bible thumping, Jesus, they'll give all these people all the media floor. They'll give, let's put it this way then. How we are portrayed is beyond our control. So the world sees us how they want the world to see us. I'll give you a good example. I used to live in Germany when I was in the army. And from Germany, we call it the gateway to Europe. So we would go hopping to different European nations. I would be in Amsterdam, Sweden, then I'll hop over to the UK, and I'll go up to Scotland, Ireland, these places. Every one of these places, I encountered the people there. They actually believe that what they see on television is exactly how we are. Like, when they see these music videos, for instance, they think that that's how we actually really live. When they watch the movies and they see these clips, yo, nigga, they think that's actually how we are, all of us. It was amazing to interact with these people, and they would try to mimic, and it's no fault of their own. It is what they have been shown since, and there is no black channels to say, we think this is derogatory. Not all of us act like this, that. As soon as they get in contact with you, they try to mimic, because they're thinking, okay, if I'm going to communicate with you, I'm trying to communicate with you on your level, black man. So let me act like Denzel Washington in Training Day, because Training Day has been streaming in their country and it's a hot movie now for the last. Let me act like the Denzel Washington in Training Day. Let me act like Rick Ross, because his video is out now, or Future. Let me act like, and it's funny to see. Even the females, this is from my experience in life, I'm not guessing. Even the females, when you talk to them, like, okay, she look good. I'm a man. I'm out here looking for a girl. I'm looking to have fun, right? This is my army days. Check this out. The females would speak to you exactly, and you're talking about Caucasoid females from those parts of the world. They're speaking to you exactly how you see the females in Love and Hip Hop act and speak. Housewives of Atlanta act and speak. The music video girls, and you know how we portray our women in the music videos. Most of them have to be light skinned. They gotta have a bag of weave on their head. They gotta have on a whole lot of makeup caked up on their face. It was funny to see the white females actually emulate that, because they wanted to be with one of us. So, and they thought that is what all of us are attracted to. And they would go the full length distance. This stuff happens because we do not own any media houses. We own no radio stations. We own no television stations. So we are not able to control how we are seen to the rest of the world. Now, if we cannot control how we are seen, how we are portrayed to the wider world, if we cannot control how our children are educated, if we cannot control how we are treated medically when we are sick, when we are ill, when we're feeling not okay, then we're not a free people. We are still a commodity. We are still under ownership. You know what I'm saying? It was funny to actually, I read the sister's story, and that's what came to my mind. And I said, Raw, it's Black History Month. Perfect time to bring this up, because we need to know this. See, our problem is this, though. We sit around and we say stuff like, yo, I not like the Chinese people, let me know, because look how them come Jamaica and just colonize the place and take over everything, and they own this and them own that and them own this. There's a lesson in that for us to learn. For one, it's only happening because we let it happen. For two, which should be one, I want you to realize that anywhere that Black people are, Chinese people are there doing big and good business. So are the Arabs and others. This is a fact. The reason why is because they pool their resources together. We don't pool our resources together, so we can't own nothing. Y'all seen when Bill Cosby tried to buy that TV station? They spanked him, and they spanked him well. You bright, you uppity, you know what? You uppity ninja. You out of your, you really think you are going to come over here and own this major TV network? Why? So you could start portraying yourselves in the light that, oh, matter of fact, the Cosbys, are there any more Black shows on television that shows the father as a doctor, the mother as an attorney, all the children are doing well in school and going off to college, both parents are still in the household and are very involved in the children's lives? Just all the positive stuff. Forget he was the Jello pudding king. Forget that the charges that came later and all that. Do you see anything else that portrays us in a positive light on television today? Ask yourself. See, they let that Cosby stuff run for a while, right? And then they made their money off of it. And after they made their money off of it, they decided, listen, it's time to pull that stuff back. And not only must we pull it back, we must also taint the individual that was in charge of that, so that they who believed in that no longer believe in that. Mash it up. Because we can't have them out here thinking that Black people really exist like that. We don't own nothing because we don't pool our resources together. There were other wealthy Black people, though, that said the same thing. They said, had Cosby come to us, we could have went in as a conglomerate. We could have pooled our resources together and went in as an investment group. But what are we trained to do? We're trained to go the extra mile, be extra successful, get everything we get by ourselves, and then move it away from our people. And a lot of us, as soon as we get a little bit, acting as if we got a lot, we start showing off on the others that haven't achieved that yet or don't have it. Had he pooled his resources together, would have been a different outcome. An investment group. No, he wanted to do it by himself because he wanted to show that this is me. I've accomplished this much. And don't get me wrong, Bill Cosby was one of the ones that used to go around and do speeches about a certain type of black person. Basically, he would say the ones that, and it's the same thing that we're saying, the ones that are this. You want to stay on welfare all your life. You don't even know how to dress yourself. Your pants sag. Your this, that. It didn't go well with his own people. So they themselves turned on him because he was speaking truth to them. All he was trying to say, though, was, hey, man, dress yourself as if you know how to carry yourself. If you look at us back in the, I like watching the old clips. Somebody said, SouFlo, do you know that we created more and we were more unified during slavery times and during the eras that followed after, like Jim Crow era and all that other stuff? We owned more. We created more. And we were more unified. That says two things to me. One is, are we more creative when they have their foot on our necks? So we need them to oppress us harder in order for us to be more united? That's a dysfunctional way of thinking. But if you look at it, that's exactly what it was. Yeah, that's true. Cookie Mama, shout out Cookie Mama. Good morning. She's saying that Bill Cosby probably didn't want the drama from the rest of partners. But these are the things that we do. The Chinese man probably didn't want the drama from the rest of the Chinese people, but he is not investing with anybody else but Chinese in that investment group. The Jewish people didn't want the drama from the rest of his Jewish brothers, but he's not investing in anybody other than Jewish. I used to live in New York, and there was, at the point when they started to gentrify Brooklyn, Brooklyn is now gentrified. Brooklyn wasn't gentrified before. When they started to gentrify Brooklyn, right, the buildings started getting sold. And that is when we realized, because we started seeing the Hasidic Jews with the kufi, the long black robes, the swirly thingies at the side of the head, the beard and all that, and the big thick glasses, they would come through, and they started coming through in numbers, and we were wondering, like, why are all these people coming through and checking out the buildings with the super and all this other stuff? And we got to know that it was one Jew selling the building to another Jew. And it was even back then. There was a guy in Brooklyn that was doing, it was a black guy, he was from Trinidad, and he was doing some investment, real estate investment. And he owned a brownstone, and then he bought another brownstone, but he wanted to buy the buildings. And it was after months and months and months of trying, he let us know one day in the barbershop. He said, listen, before they sell you one of these buildings, let's just use a number. And of course, the buildings are worth millions, but let's just use a number. Before they sell you one of those buildings for $100, they would rather sell it to one of their own for $20. And they will cut their losses and move on. The reason for that is they see the bigger picture. The bigger picture is every single building in this entire neighborhood is owned by them. One kind of people. Their people. We always find excuses why we can't work with each other. We always find excuses why I'm never going back to that black place, that mechanic or that restaurant or that, because them attitude just no good. They always service you with no smile and all this other stuff. We find a million excuses why. we don't go back. I'd rather spend my money someplace else because I don't like their attitude. It's my hard-earned money. And the thing about it is, we do that, but when we go to them other people and they profile us, follow us around the store, when you walk in through the store, you hear, yeah, I was living in Crown Heights. When you walk in through the store, you hear security check on aisle 7, but now they've changed it. Security check on zone B, and you don't know what the hell zone B is. And it's because you are in the store and you are in zone B. Right? So we find all these excuses not to go back to our own, but no matter how the others treat us, we still go back to them. And we give them many chances. We don't even say to each other, look, man, see me, I'm a very vocal person. And one thing I practice is I don't wear name brand stuff, so you will never catch me outside with big names of all these big people. I'm not sending nobody's children unless you are FUBU or one of those. I'm not sending anybody's children to the best schools and providing money for their yachts and their mansions while I can barely care for mine. So I buy how I buy. Sometimes I'm speaking in codes, but y'all understand what I'm saying. I buy how I buy, the best way I can buy that way. Sometimes there aren't any choices, but I put the effort for it consciously on a daily basis. We can't keep any money in our community. That's why we're not respected. That's why we can't own nothing. We can't own anything because we are not unified enough, and we cannot own anything because we cannot pool our resources together. There you have it. There you have it. It's sad. It's sad. Sad, man. But anyhow, how long is this going to go on? It's going to go on as long as we continue to make excuses. It's going to go on as long as we continue to pretend that one of us can do it by ourselves. It's going to go on as long as we are forced to be selfish. Because that's another thing. We are forced to be selfish. Let me give you a good example, right? So there's this, I don't want to sound, I got to be careful how I choose my words. I understand the power of this platform. So bear with me sometimes when you see me like searching for it, because it can get out of control really quick. When I had 5,000 subscribers, it was different. I used to say whatever the heck I wanted to say. Nobody really cared. Now, I say the wrong thing per se. My damn email is full by the time I get off this device. My phone is ringing all day. So I understand that things are different as your platform grows. Funny world out here. We just don't speak about it all. Listen, we can do better. All right, here's a good example. Around December, I said to the people on my channel, I put up a video that says, help me to help others, right? So I was in Jamaica twice for 2019. And on my last trip, I stopped by this medical facility that it's a very small medical facility, but it's clean, it's nice, and all female staff, highly educated, and they're there. And I said to myself, you know, these females, they could migrate as well because the brain drain is very real. Canada just took a whole bunch of nurses out of Jamaica, and who can blame them for leaving? The US just took a whole bunch of school teachers out of Jamaica, and who can blame them for leaving? When you're underappreciated, overworked, underpaid, disrespected, rejected, and neglected, and then somebody comes and says, Yes, England just took a bunch of nurses too. So did the US. Somebody comes and says, look, we don't really like you that much, but they paying you how much over here? I'm going to pay you 10 times that. Come on through. Paperwork, don't worry about it. We got that. Everything's good. You think it's right for them to stay and dedicate themselves to a group of people that are not dedicated to them? So when I went to Jamaica and I saw the medical facility, I went in there and I spoke to the ladies, the head nurse in charge, and I asked her, I said, I like this facility. What is it that you guys do for the community? Like, tell me a little bit about. And she told me every single thing. She said, everybody that gets pregnant within a radius of so-and-so, every female, this is where she comes for her checkup from the first checkup all the way till birth. And prenatal care and all that. And after the child is born up until, and then it's on school grounds. So it also supplies the entire school. And I'm thinking, okay, so is there anything that you guys are short of here? And she looked at me like, who are you? Because nobody not asking us that. I said, is there anything? And I pull out a pen. I said, you have a pen and paper? And I started writing stuff down. And she gave a list of stuff, right? Yep, I see it. Didn't you send stuff? Nope, didn't send the stuff. Here's what happened. The stuff is still in there in my office. I actually packed that barrel, and shout out to the people who sent money, because in that barrel is almost $800 worth of stuff that's in the barrel. And the wheelchair that they asked for is also packed and ready to ship, right? I took it to the place to go ship it. This man told me a different price. When I got there with the stuff, he told me an enormous number. I had to pack a barrel and a box with the wheelchair back into my truck, bring it back to my house. It sat in my driveway for about a week. And when my wife was coming back from visiting her family, I had to go pick her up at the airport, is when I emptied out the vehicle, put everything back in my office, and it's been sitting there. And you know what? I'm not pressuring people. I'm not going to be begging people every day to help your own people. I'm going to slowly build, and whenever I get to that money is when they will get it. But stuff like that is discouraging for people like me, because here I am with a platform and I'm thinking, because people say it, but that's our people. Talk a lot, but don't do jack squat diddly. Yeah, man, we support you, man. SouFlo, you chat every day about the crime and violence in Jamaica. Why don't you use your platform to do something to help your people? Okay. It's a whole lot of people on this platform, because I put up videos that have some crazy titles, and I go to sleep, and by I wake up the next morning, 70, 80,000 views, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of comments. 2 days later, that same video, 150,000 views. So I know the people are there. I know they are enjoying the content. All right, boom. Let me get $1 from everybody. This is what we're going to do. And I will videotape the whole process so you see everything. I will vlog it so you see everything. My audience, majority of them, would probably rather drive down the street and see a crackhead white dude and give him $2 out of their pocket in traffic, and then go away telling themselves, that's my good deed for the day, than to actually send that money this way. So no, I haven't sent the barrel off yet, and I haven't sent the thing off yet. And my goal was to actually fill 2 barrels. I didn't get enough to do it. I filled 1. And I have some money left over. Right now I can tell you real quick. Right now I have, wrong phone, it's on that phone. But right now I have about $150 to $200 towards sending that stuff off. And I still need quite a substantial bit more, right? I'm not pressuring people. I'm not going to wake up every day and, send me the money, send me the money. And the sad part is there are other vloggers out there that the same people support. And instead of giving you $2 to send off those barrels, they would rather go listen to all this speech, go to those other channels and type stuff like, yo, SouFLoTV over there beg money if I can't pay him bills. SouFLoTV need money for buy brains things and these kind of things. That's the mindset of our people. It's Black History Month. Let's talk up. These are the things that keep us where we're at. These are the reasons why the ones that make it feel the need to separate themselves from the ones that are in need. This was Bunny Punter. Bunny Punter, thank you. Manners and respect. So, hey, $2 is better than nothing. And if you think about it, this channel has over 200,000 subscribers on it. Could you imagine if each person sent $1? I would have enough to actually go build and run a facility in Jamaica. I'm in the field of occupational therapy. I'm still going through my educational phase, right? My goal, a lot of you who don't know this, I'll tell you this. My goal is to practice occupational therapy in Jamaica. Build a facility there or rent an office or whatever. Have my own facility there where I am able to treat people who are in need of occupational therapy. Now, occupational therapy, for those of you who are not going to take the time to go look it up, what I do, I specialize in geriatrics, meaning I deal with people who are at the end stage of life. And end stage of life, you might think elderly. I've seen people that were in their 40s that were at the end stage of life. It is people who have been affected by cancer. It is people who have been affected by heart attack, diabetes. They've had amputations, just all the ailments that could affect humans. Cecilia, sweetie, thank you. I deal with those. In Jamaica, I would be able to deal with a broader audience. So I would be able to take care of children. And you know, it's kind of different in the US because I've been in facilities before where I've seen people with no insurance come in and they were not treated. They were given what the law requires a facility to give. Oh man, we got to hold her here for 7 days just because it was a medical emergency and she came from urgent care. So we're going to hold her here for 7 days and then we're putting her out. I told a story one time of a girl that was 41 years old. And she just had a stroke. Party girl. Beautiful, fine, sexy. Because her family came and posted up all her party pictures and everything all around her room. She got hit with that stroke, right? And she was no longer able. You have Broca's and Wernicke aphasia. I'm not going to go into all that right now. Just know that when you get hit with a stroke, one part of your brain or another part of your brain no longer functions the way it does, and it causes a part of your body to also follow. Right brain controls left side, left brain controls right side. CVS, right? She was no longer able to understand what she herself was saying. So she was going around the facility talking like this. In her mind, she thought that, and it was sad to see because it was a sister and she was so young. And she's getting frustrated because she's actually saying to us, like, can you help me? Can you help me to get out this wheelchair so I could get back on the bed? Because one side of her body went with it and it's new to her. And these are all the things I do. Formulate a splint to prevent contractures. I do contractual release, all that stuff. And I'm thinking I can be a great asset to my own people. So for those of you who don't know, this is my journey that I'm going through. And I'm in no rush, but I am going to do it. Clarence Lynch, thank you. Now, in Jamaica, the laws are different. I don't have to worry about somebody saying you can't treat her because she doesn't have proper insurance that covers it. Here, I have to worry about that. And I really have to watch them suffer, and I can't treat them. In Jamaica, I don't have to do that. I can actually go treat them, and I can develop a treatment plan and give it to their caretaker or their family members if they can't come see me on a regular basis, and I could walk them through it and I could train it, because that I also do that. I train caretakers. Good girl 608, manners and respect, thank you very much. But this brings me to this. This is the reason why we are in the condition that we're in. We are not able to pool our resources together. And because we're not able to pool our resources together, we don't own anything. And because we don't own anything, we get treated like nothing. So when I see my sister here talking about how she was treated and how long they watched what was going on and documented, she was an experiment. But that is what they do to us. But they do that to us because that is our punishment for not being a unified people. And I don't know, man, no matter how I preach this to my people, if I say it soft, if I say it low, if I say it high, if I scream it from the rooftop, nothing changes. Nothing changes. But until we're able to do that, until we're able to pool our resources together, and our resources together doesn't just mean financial resources. It means getting the people who know how to do it. It's skills and talents, right? Some people have advanced training in certain fields. One more example before I go. I remember getting into my field, and I said to one of my professors, I said, after I came back from one field expedition that lasted a month, I did 4 facilities, 4 different types of occupational therapy in 1 month. This is where the school sends you out. You're pretty much at the mercy of the facility. I went to one facility where it was equine therapy, where I got to work with horses. I was scared because you had to first learn how to clean the horses. And here I am standing at the back end of a horse, cleaning even the horse's tail. Now, I was raised that you don't go to that part of a donkey or a horse. I'm thinking the same thing. I'm going to get kicked in my face, right? Cosmonags, thank you very much. Shysta 30, Shysta bless up, thank you. So I went to that. Then I went to a sensory clinic for children that were autistic and had behavioral issues. Then I went to an adult work program for grown people that have challenges but are still integrated into society and given jobs so they can be functional. They don't just sit home. And the last one I went to was pediatrics. So I went to 4 different facilities in that 1 month, right? 1 week each. And when I got back to the school, I said to the professor, I said, is it that they're not sending MB? Thank you very much. Claudine Cameron, Unstoppable. Thank you very much. Janet Jones, thank you very much. I appreciate everybody who's given even $1, man. It really does count. I'm trying to get this stuff out of my office and get it to the people that need it. And I'm truly disheartened. Like, I've told my wife already, I said, babe, I'm never doing this again. So there you have it. It's one person who has a platform to do it that has decided to never do it again. I've been sitting on the stuff too long, and it's just there. It's just there, and it's disheartening to see it. So I came back to the facility and I said to the instructor, I said, is it just me, or are they not hiring black therapists out there in the workforce? Because when I went out there, I didn't see not one black therapist out there. And yeah, I could be thinking I'm feeling the need for that one black therapist. Black love, manners and respect. Thank you. In class, it was a few of us. I was the only, no, it was me. There was Ken. I was one of two black males that were in my graduating class, and one of four black people altogether. And the class started out about 28, and the class, by the time graduation came, dwindled down to about 15 of us made it, right? It's strenuous. It's the study of anatomy and physiology, kinesiology, all this other stuff, and then the doctrines and all this stuff. But the teacher said to me in front of the class, Kay Allen, thank you. The teacher said, call my name, and after I asked this question in front of the class, and said, I've been here in this area where you are going to school at, and this part of Florida in your field is very white. This is a teacher telling me this in the university in front of the whole class. It's very white. So in order for you to find the job that you want when you leave here, you're probably going to have to move to another state. That's what I was told. So if people are wondering why I live in Florida, but I do contracts in Texas and New York, it's because of that. Okay? They'll give you what's called PRN work, which is as needed. Cookie Mama, thank you. Lisa Unstoppable, thank you. Judith H, thank you. They will give you jobs as they will call you when they need you kind of thing, but that's it. And they used to call me once every 2 weeks to work for about 2 hours. Now I have a family to support. I can't do that. I cannot support my family on working once every 2 weeks for 2 hours. And I remember getting out of school, and the first facility, a therapist was going on vacation. So I assumed that therapist's entire schedule, full-time, 40 hours for that entire week. And she was gone for 2 weeks. So I took up her schedule for 2 weeks, right? And when my first paycheck came in, I was like, okay, damn, this is why I went to school then. I'm going traveling. I have to start working full-time, because if I can amass this amount of money and do something that I love, plus I need the knowledge and the experience. And it was hard for me to start leaving my family behind and being gone for 13 weeks at a time. But these are the sacrifices, right? And this is why I'm saying that I am taking all this, but my end goal, come on, everybody, you know, I'm not from here, okay? I'm not from here, and I really don't plan on retiring here and living out my elderly days here. I see how elderly people are treated here. I've been in this field for a while. I see people's houses get taken away, or if they have to sign it over to somebody and act like they don't own it, and then who they sign it over actually takes it. Like, you have to hide and safeguard your stuff. You have nothing to pass on to your children. Like, it's a whole bunch of issues why. Plus, I just don't want to age this way. And I feel like I have some more to give. You are truly a king or truly a queen when you can actually give to the upliftment of your people for future generations to come. And I think that is my calling, and that's what I'm going to do. Dwight Smith, thank you very much. Cookie Mama, oh man, thank you so much. It is our duty, man, to pool our resources together. when we start crying about how we're being treated, just remember it's because we are not pooling our resources together. That is why others are able to treat us the way that they do. And for those of you who missed the first part of this, I said we own no hospitals or medical facilities, we own no schools, and we own no media outlets, radio or television. So how we are seen across the world is controlled by somebody else. Our schools, our education, controlled by other people. Our medical issues, they're able to run experiments on us, pretend they're treating us, but document, let's see how this type of cancer really develops in a person. Here's a person that we can study from the start of it all the way to the end stage. So we know when to intervene, what medication to give. They're doing this. And they're doing it because we are not unified and we don't own nothing. Right? All right. I'm going to leave this right here. Let me end this by saying this. I'll be on tomorrow morning for your It's the Freaking Weekend Baby talk. And hopefully it'll be, well, whatever comes tomorrow comes tomorrow. Just remember this. Move around with a conscious mind set. Okay, at some point you have to get there. Susan Cummings, Sasha Cummings, Sasha, thank you. At some point you have to get there. I will show you, for the people who are sending this, I will use every penny of it, and I will show you when I'm sending this stuff off. And when I'm in Jamaica, I will go to the facility, because my end plan for this is to go to the facility and to also go to the surrounding areas, so you can see how far a little bit can go. We take for granted the little things that we have. I actually learned that there are reusable sanitary pads for women. I didn't know that. I thought women had tampons and pads. And when they use a pad, it's a one-time use thing and you have to throw it away. It was from one of my subscribers who sent money, and when I was packing the barrel, because that was one of the things that bugged me out. When I come here and I see pads, like the average female in the US, she is not worried about where to get a sanitary pad from. And then I go there and I'm thinking, yeah, I'm going on vacation. I'm going to enjoy and there are people there that can't afford a sanitary pad. They're making a pad out of like a whole bunch of paper and putting it together and all kinds of stuff, or rolled up socks and this kind of stuff. And I was like, oh man, that's bad. And my subscribers not only sent the money, she said, SouFlo, this is exactly what I want you to do with the money. I want you to buy this particular type of pads. They are reusable. And here's the link from Amazon that you're going to buy it from. I didn't even have an Amazon account. I closed my Amazon account long ago. I had to reopen it, but I did it just for that, because I'm sitting there with my wife and I said, babe, you know, so them have reusable pads. You know, I talk everything over with her. No, so we went on Amazon and sure enough, there was reusable pads. Wow. And she sent the right amount to order, the right amount she said to order, and I ordered it. And I put it on the video. If you look at the video that I posted on the channel, you will see all the stuff laid out. I don't need not one of those stuff for myself. My family is good. We have a pantry in the house with stuff that we need. And we live within our means. You know what I'm saying? But to see other people in need of things that we take for granted, it's like, okay, how can I be of help? How can I be of service? And then you try to be of help and of service, and it goes nowhere. That's disheartening. People will help you when you try to help yourself. I went to the U-Haul place and I said to the lady in there, first of all, my last story and I'm done. I knocked on the U-Haul door because the sign said, gone out to lunch, but I saw the lady behind the door. And it looked like she had just closed the door and she was walking away from it. So I walked up to the door, I knocked the window anyways. And she came to the door with this look like, oh God, didn't you see my sign? It says out to lunch, man. I want to go. So I said, I'm not trying to interrupt your lunch. I'm so sorry. And it was a sister as well. I'm not trying to interrupt your lunch. I'm so sorry, but I have to send this stuff off by tomorrow. And I don't have the right stuff to pack it in. I'm talking about the wheelchair. She said, where you sending it to? Why, Yankee lady, where you sending it to? I said, I'm sending it to Jamaica. She opened the door all the way. She said, come on in. I'm on my lunch break, but I got a little bit of time. Look over here and see if you... And I looked over there and I found this huge box. I'm 6'4" tall, right? Give me my ½ inch. I'm 6'4.5". But people say don't use my ½ inch. So I'm 6'4". The box is almost as tall as me, but it breaks down perfectly around the wheelchair. That box costs almost $50. When I found the box, I said, yes, this one will do. Okay, how much I have for you? I don't want to interrupt your lunch. I'm going to let you go. She said, who you sending it to? I still haven't paid for it yet. I said, actually, I run a YouTube channel, and I told her the whole story. You know, I told my audience this and that, and I'm sending this to a facility medical facility in Jamaica that supplies a large area and a school and all this other stuff. And she goes, you know what, baby? I'm not even going to charge you for that box. You can have the box. God's going to bless you, and you got to be ready. You hear me? You got to be ready for this blessing that's coming your way. He gonna use you to do some things. And the lady sat there and just talked to me for a whole long time. And she said, it's funny because that's what me and my husband do. So you came in the right time for the right reason. And I was put here just to give you this box. My spirit said, don't charge you for this box. That's $50 more. Instead of paying for packaging that thing, I could put towards shipping that stuff out. Right? So I stretch my hand out, man. I stretch my hand out because I'm trying to help other people. And that's it. All right? So we'll catch up later. I thank you for everybody that tuned in. Manners and respect to each and every one of you. We might not agree and see eye to eye all the time on every single subject, but that's life. And the love is still real. And the respect is still there. Okay? It's just like in your family. Your mom is going to scold you. Your dad, you and your brother disagree. But you guys still love each other. And you still show respect towards each other. So that's what it is here. All right. Have a blessed day, everybody. Big up on yourself. One love. Be conscious. All right. Be conscious. Don't be no sleeping dead. No walking dead. Be conscious. The world is happening around us. Up, up, up is still the motto, and it means wake up, wise up, and rise up. All right? I'm out. Catch you tomorrow morning. God spare my life. Peace. One love.